Hey, hey, hey. It's Tailgate Tales time, y'all.
Hey, y'all.
And very soon afterwards, it will be midweek mini time because
Sure will.
we're doing them both tonight to get them done for the week because we got a busy week coming up.
Yeah, we're going on vacation.
Yeah, and we were originally going to be doing Kentucky this week, but then turns out Kentucky doesn't play this week.
Yeah, someone, aka me, fucked up when I was trying to put the schedules together. I don't know. I was doing it at work when I should probably have been doing other things, so I'll blame that. But anyway, we switched it out. It's going to be good. Kentucky will be whenever Tennessee was going to be. We fixed it.
I mean, we've done it.
Yes.
I don't know if we fixed it, but yeah. So
Either
Tennessee
way,
this week.
I face paint.
Yeah,
Orange,
we have Tennessee
white.
on us.
We're good.
Okay. So, I think we can just go right into it, Leah, since we got shit to do
Okay.
tonight. Are you ready?
I surely am, my dear.
Okay, well, hold on. Let me get this part up here. And I'm not ready at all. All right, I'll cue you. You ready?
Okay.
3?
Well, you're the one that starts this, right? Or
No,
do
this is
I?
Tailgate Tales.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I got this.
Somebody's not paying attention. I don't even know what we're doing right now. So, it's been a rough few days, y'all. We don't know what we have scheduled at this point. All right. I will let you know in just a few seconds. 3, 2, 1.
Hey, y'all. I'm Leah Lawrence.
And I'm her husband, Mitch Lawrence.
And you are listening to Tailgate Tales, a special series of the Southern Spirits podcast.
Each week, we are talking about something fun from a school in the Southeastern Conference. So which one is it this week, Leah?
This week, we're talking about the University of Tennessee.
All right. And as you maybe, if you're not watching the live stream, I did not mute my phone, goddammit. I'm sorry if y'all heard that. If you're not watching the live stream or the video on YouTube, Kentucky doesn't have anything fun to paint on your faces. So we have orange on one side, white on the
You
other.
said Kentucky. This is Tennessee.
Kentucky, what the fuck? Tennessee, thank you. So orange on one side, white on the other, with a big T is what we got.
Yeah.
And as you're about to find out real soon, they also don't have any fun traditions. So let's move on. The alcohol we're drinking, Sweetwater IPA. It's been on the main show, so I'm not going to talk too much about it. It's the yellow can. From Sweetwater. It's delicious, or bottle. It's yellow, and I like it a lot. Not going to talk too much about it, like I said. Moving on, the tradition we're going to talk about is the orange and white checkerboard, because again, Tennessee doesn't have a lot of fun traditions. They're all kind of plain. This is the most fun one for me because the stadium looks so cool. Mm-hmm. You know, they section it off. You're in the orange section or the white section, and we checkerboard. And that started, let me say where I got my information from. It's from utsports.com, article titled Tennessee Traditions. So again, pretty fucking plain, Tennessee. I'm not going to read the whole thing. Essentially, the way this started was, Leah, you know how in the end zone they have their checkerboard pattern with the white and the orange, like they do in the stadium?
Yes.
Well, it used to be that a lot of schools and teams just had their end zones checkerboard, just black and white. And in the 30s...
Was there a reason for that? Or that's just how traditionally they lined a field?
It was traditionally, okay, here's the end zone. It's checkerboard, you know. But let's see. 1921 is where this dates to. Let me see. Anyway, one of their coaches...
Someone didn't read their research?
I know I did, but I just didn't want to read the whole thing. Okay, so the checkerboard thing dates back to 21, but they didn't put it on the field until 1964. The coach, Doug Dickey, was the one who introduced it, and he just replaced the black squares with orange squares. And it ended up looking really freaking cool, and it got embraced everywhere. Tennessee then went to a turf field for a little while. Then when they went back to grass in 94, they put the checkerboard back on, and it's just been like that ever since. I just think it looks really cool. And again, Tennessee, from what I could find, doesn't have too many fun traditions.
So let them have this.
Yeah, they can have this one. And I enjoy the checkerboard, so...
It's really cute. I've got a picture on, if you're watching the video, or the live stream, I've got a cool picture of the stadium. And yeah, everybody's sectioned off. Like you're either in a section where everybody's wearing orange or in a section where everybody's wearing white. And the entire like bowl of the stadium is checkerboarded in orange and white. And it's really neat. But you can just sort of pick those assholes out of the crowd that didn't get the memo of what section they were sitting in because they stand out real bad.
Yeah, it looks like the visitors are up there in the very top.
Yeah, that top right section where nothing looks the same.
Yeah,
So
there's some red up in there.
bless their hearts.
Yeah, but they also do, you can see a little bit in the picture there, they do a giant T as well. The marching band makes that T. It's like a tunnel that the players run through to come out.
Yeah.
So that's kind of fun too. I thought about that one, but I was like, I mean, that's it. That's all there is to say about it. There's a T and they run through it. Cool, So
You never ran through a T before.
Oh, God. Have I ever run through a T? You don't even know. All right, well, that's it for the tradition. Leah, what are we going to talk about?
All right, well, we're going to be talking about a haunting in a building that is on campus there at University of Tennessee in Knoxville.
Fun.
So this is a vintage postcard, the photo that's on the screen for the video. It's a photo of the old Strong Hall. Now, we're going to be talking about how it was recently renovated / mostly demolished and rebuilt from little pieces of it. So this building isn't exactly there anymore, but we're going to talk about it later. So this particular building was called Sophronia Strong Hall, and it was named after a woman obviously named Sophronia Strong, who was born in Shelbyville, Tennessee in 1817. When she was 16 years old, she married a prominent physician in Knoxville called Joseph C. Strong, and they got married and they settled there in Knoxville on Cumberland Avenue, and they had a happy life. She gave birth to 12 children.
Oh, that doesn't sound happy at all.
Right. And one of the sons that she birthed, his name was Benjamin Rush Strong, and he became very, very wealthy, and he became an early donor of the university. And when he died, he left the university a very large sum of money, and he specifically intended this money to be used to build a residence hall for women in his mother's name. So that's what they did. He intended the hall had to be named after his mother. It had to specifically house only women, and he wanted a wildflower garden planted in the courtyard there because his mother loved wildflowers. So they constructed Strong Hall, and it was completed in 1925. And yeah, it was a great residence hall for a real long time. And it's said that Sophronia does haunt the building that bears her name, even though she was never in it when she was alive. I guess she was really like, dude, I got a cool new afterlife dig, moving in. And so apparently you can find her ghost all over that building, or at least you could when it was still standing. They say that since it was a female residence hall, Sophronia, or Sophie, like most people called her, just sort of acted like a little dorm mother spirit kind of thing. She liked to play tricks on the students. She would sometimes lock them out of their rooms or the bathroom. Sometimes she would appear as like a floating orb and freak them out a little bit, or just sort of harmless, silly stuff. But her thing was she hated conflict, and she didn't like people acting unladylike in the dormitory. So it was all fun and games until you started a shouting match with your roommate. And when you started doing that, Sophie would fucking show up in a big way. When you start arguing in that dormitory, there were reports of, like, I found, and I even went on Reddit to read some stories of people that lived there back when this was still a female dormitory. And a lot of the stories were pretty similar. So if you started arguing with someone or getting in a fight, it was really common for like doors to slam. So you would like stop what you're doing and like reassess, hey, dorms, the doors in the room would slam shut and freak them out. And then another account that I read was there were two girls that were like physically starting to push each other and getting into a physical altercation. And the story said that they sort of were physically pushed apart by something that no one could see. Like they were pushed apart and like to the ground by this spirit so they would stop like bitch fighting. You know what I mean?
Cat fighting, I
yeah,
believe it's called.
Indeed.
For the sexist community.
And then they also say that at one point a couple of girls got into like a yelling match over a boy, and they were like just very upset about it. And all of a sudden one of the girls starts freaking out and screaming because a full-bodied apparition of Sophronia is just like standing behind him with her hands on her hips, just looking at her like, what are you really gonna fight in my dormitory? Because it's not cool.
Listen.
And it freaked him out, and they moved out of the dormitory.
She called them by their full names.
Mm-hmm.
Middle names and all.
Yes, indeed. And also her birthday was February the 17th, so it was very common. There was a full-length mirror in the lobby of that dormitory, and it was very common to see sort of an apparition of a woman wearing a white gown in the full-length mirror on her birthday.
Okay.
So everybody assumed it was probably Sophie. Now, in 2008, they did start renovation and reconstruction of this building. Now, they've reopened it since. It is still called Strong Hall, but instead of being... There it is, right there, really pretty.
I've got great timing.
Yes, so instead of being a
impeccable, some might say.
Can you hush? Instead of being a women's residence hall, it is now the anthropology department and the earth and planetary science department. There's a bunch of high-tech labs and classrooms and interactive learning spaces. I don't know what that means. That's just what the University of Tennessee's website says.
I don't know either.
But they did use some architectural features on the bottom floor of the original building. It's built on the same place. They tried to keep as much of the original architecture as they could while building a completely different structure for a completely different purpose. So there are pieces of the original building still there, but it is not the same at all inside. It is pretty much new construction. And a lot of people have said that Sophie has come back to haunt this hall, and she's a little mad about it because it's no longer the residence hall that it was intended to be when the money was donated for it in the first place.
Yeah, because now there's interactive learning and hippie bullshit.
Right? And can you imagine? People are definitely going to be arguing more in that bitch. So, well, I don't know.
I
women's
use
dormitory
the interactive
might
learning console. I want to use the interactive learning console. That's it. That's all I had.
That's all you had?
Yeah.
There was no...
That was the cat fight that I had in my
Oh.
mind. And then shirts came off and they started making out. You know. The usual.
I lived in a women's dormitory for long enough to know that that never happened. Thank you very much. At
Didn't
least
happen
not
to
where
you.
I went to school.
Didn't happen to you, loser.
All right,
All the
maybe
cool
I was on the
girls.
wrong hall, but that never happened. But all right. I'm not saying it didn't, but I never witnessed
Yeah.
it. So
You weren't invited.
you're right.
Yeah.
I was not.
Well,
So that's all I've got for that. Strong Hall.
well,
Looks very nice. Good job, University of Tennessee. But
yeah. The new one looks really cool.
yeah, it's really fancy looking. But it is no longer a ladies' residence hall like you promised that dead guy it would be. So shame on you, maybe?
I didn't. Oh, Tennessee. I was gonna say I didn't make any promises.
Not you. Tennessee.
It looks like a lot of interactive learning happens in there.
Yeah.
You know.
And they do have a really big anthropology program there at Tennessee. We talked last year during Tailgate Tales about their body farm
Yeah.
and their anthropology department and all of that stuff. And so that is a big deal. And I'm glad that they have a really cool new high-tech facility to learn in. So rock on.
That's really fun. Well, the last slide there is, of course, the Tennessee mascot, which is a real cute dog.
He's so cute. Isn't his name Smokey?
Yeah, they named them Smokey, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
All of them, kind of like Ugga at Georgia. I'm not sure, though. They
Yeah.
may have had the same one for a while. I don't know.
He's super cute, though.
Yeah.
And he's got a little outfit. I love it when they've got
he
an
does
outfit.
got a little outfit, that's
and
for
it's
sure.
checkerboard, too, so...
Yeah, isn't it cute? I told you they
It's
really
very cute.
embrace that checkerboard stuff over there, you know. All right, well, I guess that's it for Tailgate Tales.
Excellent.
Right?
Mhm.
It was really fun. We hope that y'all enjoyed it and hope that you learned something excellent about interactive learning today.
Okay.
Y'all, look, Tennessee's not that interesting, like we discussed earlier.
You are
okay?
going to piss off a Tennessee fan.
Well, they can tell me something fucking interesting because the Body
Seriously.
Farm was excellent.
Yeah, it was.
Past that, Tennessee fucking nosedives. They got no traditions worth of shit. Their mascot's cute as hell.
It is a very cute mascot.
What
So,
else am I supposed to say?
if you went to Tennessee, hey, drop us a line. Let me read your amazing things that we couldn't find online about your university.
Please.
So,
Please. I'll say it again. The checkerboard is just something I find visually appealing. I
Yes.
enjoy it. Past that, not a goddamn thing happens at Tennessee. I'm sorry to say it.
you are so mean.
I can't help it. I really can't. All right. Well, I guess that's it for this week's Tailgate Tales. What do you say, Leah?
I guess I say bye, y'all.
All right. Well, we will see you next time. There we go. Got the audio. Good.
Huzzah!
Okay, for everybody here for the stream, awesome. We will. We're just going to take a little break. I don't know if we're going to clean our faces, but we're just giving this spot here a place for the video to end, so we can easily cut the video. So we're just going to take a few-minute break, and then we're going to go live right again to do midweek minis.
Yeah, so everybody get your snacks, go take a pee, and we'll be right back.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's just end it then. Sounds good to me. All right, y'all. We'll see you in a few minutes.
Bye, y'all. I already said it once. I didn't know I was supposed to continue.
All right. All right. Bye. Oh, that was really funny. That was really funny. I enjoyed that. Do you want to wipe off or not?
Let's take pictures of our face, and yeah,
Okay.
I want to wipe off because
Okay.
I don't want it to dry my face out.
Hashtag wipe off. Dubby, what's Mama doing? All right, you go ahead and do that. I'm going. Huh?
Take a picture.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Picture. Because I realized after we started that I didn't name the stream. Like I didn't say Tailgate Tales or anything. So. Don't smile. Perfect. Your strut face is gone.
Yeah.
Isn't that exciting? All right, I'm gonna sit down and name the stream real quick. Okay. What? Was that Oliver? Oliver. Never before has a boy wanted more. Dobby, how are you doing, pupper? Pupper Duppagus? You're so cute, bud. And welcome into Midweek Minis now. We have cleaned our faces. We are no longer in horrendous orange and white paint. And I'm sitting Native American style on the couch.
It's called crisscross applesauce nowadays,
It's
Mitchell.
definitely crisscross applesauce. You are
That
right
is-
about that,
That is the
my love.
correct term.
Yeah. Well, you win this round, Leah.
I'll run all the rounds. Also, I'm super shiny because of that moisturizer I put on my face.
Yeah, my face got real red. I need to moisturize when we're done with everything, you know.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's see. Do you want to just go straight into it?
Yeah, let's go for
Have
it.
anything to do? Any business to take care of?
No business. Would you like
Okay.
to read the minutes first, or what do we?
No.
Point of order?
No.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you for asking, though. All right. If you want to just get started, we can get Midweek Minis underway.
Okay, let's do it.
All right. Here we go. All right. I take the intro on this one. See, that's what you
Yes.
asked a few minutes ago. This is me. All right. 3, 2, 1. Hey, y'all. Welcome to Midweek Minis, the show where you get to ask us questions and we read personal stories that you've sent to us. I'm Mitch Lawrence. That's my wife, Leah Lawrence.
Hey, y'all.
And we are super excited because Leah tells me we have a very, very long personal story to read today.
Yes, we do.
So that's perfect because we still have a good amount of questions, but if we can ration those, I'm all about it. So this could just be a full episode of a story, but we'll see.
Indeed, and
We'll
we
see how
also
long it
need more
takes.
stories. So if anybody's got a story that they want to give us,
Mhm.
do you know about a hometown murder situation? Have you ever experienced something creepy? Is something really cool or famous from your town? I don't know. I'm very open. I'll read just a
Uh-oh. She's got the hiccups,
hiccups again. What is my problem? Every time we've gone to record lately, I just get the hiccups.
though. Oh, no.
Maybe it's anxiety. I don't know. But
You got the
anyway,
anxiety burps.
I've got hiccups.
That's an anxiety burp.
No,
I'm not
that's
anxious,
just
though. I
belching.
just have burps.
Ugh,
I'm just a gaseous person.
you're gross. Anyway.
Thank you.
Well, this personal story comes from our friend Allison, and
Hey.
she's the same Allison from Tallulah Brewing Company's tap room. So if you're there, go swing by and say hi to Allison. Their beer is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
Highly recommended. That's Tallulah Brewing in Jasper, Alabama.
Jasper.
It's real good.
You have to pronounce it correctly.
Jasper?
Jasper.
No, it's just Jasper, y'all.
That's how Jasperites say it.
All right, so we're going to be reading this, and like I said, it is pretty long, but it's spooky because she grew up in a haunted murder house.
Oh, yay.
So, yeah. All right, ready?
How exciting. Yeah, I'm ready.
The following is a few of my more vivid memories of growing up in a haunted murder house.
Oh, God.
There were many more occurrences than what is listed here, but I don't think you want an hours-long episode of Midweek Minis.
I surely do.
I hope you enjoy or at least find them somewhat interesting. They always kept us on our toes.
Oh, God. I mean, we could do multiple parts, Allison. You can
I'm
send
just
them
going to
in.
go for it.
Yeah.
All right. When I was about 15 years old, my parents bought a house on a nice, quiet back road in our small town community. It was a large red brick house with a swimming pool, and our closest neighbors were the horses living in the pastures that surrounded our property. It was a beautiful and perfect for our family. I couldn't believe we had been able to afford such a place, and come to find out, my parents had bought it at auction for a fraction of what the place was actually worth. When I inquired as to why the house had been at auction in the first place, my mother was hesitant to tell me, but after constant badgering, I was a nosy child, she eventually gave in. It turns out that the man who had built the house just a few years earlier, around 1999, had been shot and killed in the driveway of the place. Backstory.
Jesus.
The man... What?
Just the house.
Oh.
Also, Dobby tried to bite me, but
I was about to say...
all of that happened at once. So I was kind of all-encompassingly Jesus at that point.
Okay. All right, backstory. The man had been dating a woman that was going through a divorce. One night, the girl spent the night with him, and as they were getting back in his vehicle the next morning, her soon-to-be ex-husband stepped out from behind the privacy fencing that ran down the driveway and shot both of them multiple times. The girl survived, but unfortunately, he did not. The man I will call John in consideration of his family.
Okay.
We moved in about 2.5 years after John's murder and had experiences from the very start. The third night we were in the house, my mother, sister, and myself were sitting in the kitchen, which had glass French doors leading out to the back porch, which at the time was lit up brightly from the outside with lights. Let's see. We were just sitting there talking when there very clearly was a knocking on the glass doors.
Oh.
There was, of course, as we could see, no one there. My sister bolted out of the room, wide-eyed, and my mother and I just sat there and looked at each other with the same oh shit thoughts in our minds.
Oh.
We never told my younger siblings what had happened at the house prior to our moving in, but both kids had very strange experiences. My sister, who was 8 at the time, from the first couple of weeks we were in the house, kept complaining that she couldn't sleep at night and said that it always felt like someone was watching her from her window. Her room was on the bottom floor with the rest of us, but her room's window overlooked the spot where John took his last breath. We had blinds and curtains on her windows. No one could see in from the outside, and she couldn't see out unless they were open. After a few weeks, she flat out refused to stay in her room at night and spent the rest of her time there, sleeping on the couch in the living room. After about a year of being there, she asked if she could go live with her dad because she didn't feel comfortable in the house, and my mother, fearing that the experiences were the cause of Morgan's falling grades and rising behavior issues, reluctantly agreed. My little brother Kyle was about 5 when we moved in and had multiple experiences with John, but I did not know that's who or what it was. Or he didn't know what it was.
Okay, I'm confused already.
Let me start that sentence over.
Start the whole thing over.
No.
I'm so lost.
My little brother Kyle was about 5 when we moved in and had multiple experiences with John, but did not know that's who or what it was. Remember, my brother had no knowledge of anything to do with John. John's the guy that got shot.
Right.
Okay.
The guy shot in the driveway, right?
All right.
Yeah.
So one afternoon, he had been home with our stepdad while my mom and I were out. When we got back, he came and told us that, quote, the man who used to live here was out in the yard today looking around, end quote. We asked if he talked to him, and he said that he said hey to the man, but he didn't answer him. He went to tell our stepdad, and when Thomas, which I assume is the stepdad's name, when Thomas came out to check, he had left. We asked Kyle to describe the man, and sure enough, he described him to a T. Side story, John had dated my mother's friend's daughter at one point, and she had shown us pictures.
What is happening? First of all, Allison, where did you grow up? Because there's a lot of, weird relationships happening at this point.
Why is that weird?
Well, I don't know. I mean, okay, maybe I'm wrong, but I'm really having trouble following, first of all, at this point. How many siblings are there?
There's a mother, a little sister, a brother, a stepfather, and the little sister has moved in with her biological father instead of living in the house that's haunted.
And she dated someone later on?
No, her mother's friend's daughter dated the guy that got shot there.
Jesus Christ. What's happening? So this guy who got shot has gone out with 3 different women so far, right? Because he was married. And
no, he was never married. The girl was married to a man.
Okay, who shot him?
Who shot both of them.
Okay, in the driveway.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
This is not a hard story to follow, baby.
I'm trying to keep up with a few things at this point. But I think I got it now.
Anyway,
I think so.
Had shown us picture. Anyway, we asked Kyle how he knew the man used to live here, and Kyle said, "I don't know. I just know he did." A few weeks later, he told us again the man who used to live here was down in the basement breaking stuff. John had a cabinet shop in the basement during his life, so I assumed that Kyle was hearing the hammering, and nothing, in fact, was actually broken downstairs.
Okay.
I also remember very vividly how anxious my dog Pete was. I like his name.
I know. I love it.
I love animals with people names. Anyway, He was very calm and a full-grown golden retriever, very easygoing, but for the rest of his life in that house, he would randomly stand up and stare down the hallways towards our bedrooms and growl and bark at nothing in a very vicious, I'll eat you alive manner, with all of his hair perked up on his back. That was so out of character for him, you'd just have to know the dog. He particularly hated the upstairs bonus room, where a lot of strange noises happened and can still be heard today. He would refuse to go up the stairs and would do everything in his doggy power to try to prevent us from going upstairs. When we'd get past him, he would sit at the door of the staircase and whimper until we came back down.
Silly Pete.
Right. It's
Yeah.
so cute. Anyway, my mother has claimed to have woken up several times with John standing over her looking down disapprovingly. She was so scared for a while that if she beat the school bus home, she would wait outside until we got off the bus so as not to face the house alone. I myself have felt his or some presence there almost constantly since moving in. He or whatever it was would follow me down the halls, tapping on the walls as we went. The house was only a few years old, so I know it wasn't a pipe issue. There was also the ever-present someone is watching me feeling that I quickly became accustomed to. I never felt threatened by the presence, but a handful of times after a while it almost became weirdly comforting, like I knew I wasn't alone in the house, which when you don't have a visible neighbor in sight can be a good thing. One time, no, not for me.
No, that sounds
No.
awful.
One time that I was actually unnerved by the presence was when I was home alone working on a research paper. I had gotten lost in my notes and the computer screen had gone black. I got the overwhelming feeling that someone was behind me and glanced up to see the silhouette of a man pass behind me in the reflection of the dark computer screen. I quickly grabbed my notebook and went outside on the porch until my stepdad got home. I felt comfortable going back in the house. The only time that I was ever truly terrified was the Christmas after moving into the house. I had been helping my mom decorate earlier in the day and had found in the tiered ceiling some balloons, still slightly inflated from what I could only guess was John's son's last birthday in the house. Well, we threw them away, as you do with years old semi-inflated balloons and party leftovers, and thought nothing more of it. That evening, I was in bed channel surfing when the being watched feeling came back and began to build and build to the point I just knew that if I were to turn to my right, there would be someone there with their face almost pressed against mine. It was one of the worst feelings I have ever had in my life. The terror built in me until I made the split decision to jump from where I was sitting over the foot of my bed without ever turning my head and left the room. I spent the next few nights in the living room with my sister. The activity in the house increased and increased until my mom, who is not a very religious person, decided to have a preacher come out and bless/pray in the house.
Did he use oils?
Maybe.
Oh, I want to know if he used oils. We talked
Just
about that
slanging that
so
olive
much.
oil everywhere.
Yeah, on Trailer Trashy,
Yeah.
there have been quite a few instances of talking about all of the goddamn oil that these people have in their houses. That is literally like you go to the store and buy olive oil, and a preacher goes, "Yeah, it's good now," and so you scrape it on your fucking walls, and it apparently gets demons out.
I mean,
Someone, look, I'm not a religious person. I will freely admit that there are a lot of things I just don't believe, but that one, it really feels like everyone should go, "That's a load of bullshit." But there are so many people who are like, "No, I put an olive oil cross on my wall, and I haven't had nightmares since."
well, that's where we're leading here.
Fucking A.
I'm
Sorry, Allison. No judgment, but fucking judgment.
They don't say anything about oil. You're the one that went off on olive oil.
I'm sure that oil was involved.
Anyway, the activity in the house increased and increased until my mom, who is not a very religious person, decided to have a preacher come out and bless/pray in the house. The activity then got worse. Banging on the walls and windows, dogs barking at nothing all night, a general creepy vibe. This went on for weeks until my mom had I'm sorry, let me try this again.
You got it.
This went on for weeks until my mom had just had enough and stopped in the middle of cleaning the house and yelled out, whatever the hell was causing all the chaos, and said, "Stop, this is not your house, this is my house, and I'll be damned if you're going to try to control us and scare my kids, you son of a bitch. You are dead, we aren't, it's time for you to move on." And then she went back to cleaning. My siblings and I just looked at each other like,
Mission accomplished.
well, okay, Mom, just hold off the ghost. Cool. Amazingly, after that, the activity decreased immensely, from full-on horror movie to just a few bumps here and there. I suppose it would be a true statement to say hell hath no fury like a woman whose children are frightened by someone/something that has no place in her house. The most we heard from him/it afterwards was the footsteps in the bonus room upstairs. To this day, that is where he/it stays.
Oh, God.
You'll be alone in the house, or everyone will be downstairs, and you'll hear plain as day someone walking around upstairs. It doesn't scare us anymore, and for the most part, we just ignore it. If all he/it is doing is hanging out up in the bonus room and not causing any other type of havoc, then we are fine.
Yeah.
John did build the house himself for his family, and it is where he lost his life. So if the upstairs room gives him comfort in his ever after, then so be it. Now, I know you've noticed that I'm using he/it to describe the presence in the house. I do this because I'm not entirely sure that it is John. Everything I have heard about the man was that he was kind and gentle. While he could be a bit of a ladies' man,
Hey.
he would never do anything that would hurt anyone. So this idea of him didn't fit well with the hostile energy we dealt with for a period of time. I don't know what happens when a person dies. It's a wonderful thought that there is a peaceful, happy afterlife waiting for those of us who live a good life here on this plane, but no one has come back to confirm this for us yet. So anyways, if there isn't, and a person's soul/spirit remains behind after the body's death, that house is a quiet, peaceful, and pleasant place to be. You also hear people say that when someone dies of violent and or sudden death, it can leave a portal or a gateway open to the other side that other entities, perhaps not the nicest, could use to access this world and cause havoc. Or maybe the confusion of being alive and well one minute and then gone the next, and being stuck watching another family move in and take control of your home would be very upsetting and could cause someone who is normally kind and easygoing to take some hostile tactics to make themselves known. Like I said, I don't really know what happened to John after he died, but I do know that my mom's house is haunted by something, whether it's him, residual negative energy, or something else entirely.
Okay. So were they, I don't know if she said, and I know you wouldn't know the answer to this if it wasn't said.
Yeah.
But I feel like I may have missed it. Were they the first people to move in after this?
Yes, they
Okay.
bought that house, according to what I read.
2.5 years after, I
2.5
remember.
years that they bought it at auction, because I'm sure,
No one would buy it?
yeah.
Well, you know that's one of the biggest things that happens in real estate that I didn't know until we were looking at houses, when I would like Google not how to buy a house, but like, what am I looking
steps
for in a
of-
house?
Like steps and processes of, yeah.
One of the biggest things that realtors have to list is whether the house is haunted or not. Like, I don't think they have to, but they do.
A lot of it is more of if anybody has died or been murdered on the property.
Haunted
A
is
lot of
the
stuff.
classification.
I've
believe me,
never
I read
seen
a
that,
lot
but
of it.
I also didn't
But-
do that kind of research either. So.
Now, I didn't see it on any of the houses we looked at.
No.
But I'm telling you that there are articles you can find where it talks about how realtors have to make like unavailable information to tell people this house is haunted or it's not. That kind of thing, because people will ask. People will ask, is the house haunted?
I just don't particularly care one way or the other. I mean,
Yeah.
like, it would be really terrifying if something like that was actually happening to
Yeah,
you.
it wouldn't feel good.
I would be very uncomfortable, but I mean, I have lived in haunted buildings in my lifetime. I just have. I've had experiences in my dormitory in college that were super duper creepy, but it's just one of those things that you just sort of learn to live with and whatever. So if this house had a ghost and we still got it for the price we got it for, fuck yeah, I'm going to live here.
Well, I haven't experienced
that-
a ghost yet.
Yeah, that
There's a
price
fucking
was-
crazy meth head neighbor.
We do have that, yeah. It's
He's
close
not
to
a ghost, though. Believe
but,
me, he's used my telephone a few times.
yeah.
He's not a ghost.
But yeah, so and then also the house that we used to live in, the person that lived there before us swears up and down that that sucker's haunted by my great grandparents, but we never had any problem with that either.
No, it's
so.
just falling down.
Yeah, it's just
'Cause
it's
it's very
just a
old.
really old, unmaintained home. So there you go.
Yeah. I've never experienced any kind of paranormal stuff, so I mean,
I have, but that
You
would
know.
not have been my first consideration upon buying a house.
yeah, I would have just been fine with it.
Yeah,
Y'all can deal. But then you got to consider resale value, Leah.
you're right.
We have to tell people if it's haunted or not.
Okay.
All right, well, I guess we can finally get into some questions. What
All
do you
right,
say?
let's do
Allison, that was a
questions.
very entertaining story.
I know, right?
And for real, send in more of them because you said there's more. So
I would love to hear more.
send them in parts, John's Haunting Part 3 or whatever. All right. From Leisha, what are your favorite kind of potato chips?
Ooh, my favorite type of potato chips are they're Golden Flake brands.
Yeah.
They're a regional, like a southern thing, but they're hot chips. That's
Yeah,
all they're
you
called. They're
fucking
just
love
hot flavored.
chips.
Y'all, those are the best potato chips in the whole wide world.
They're like chips with hot sauce.
Basically, they're so good, and I mean they do get a little spicy, but they're not so spicy that you can't enjoy them. I love those things.
Allison put in the chat, she's sorry the story was so long.
I'm not.
That's not
I
what we
liked it
said.
a lot.
That's not at all what was said. We very much enjoyed it.
I thought it was
And,
fucking awesome.
I was going to type it, but then I said it out loud, so I'm just going to say that's what she said. So, I mean, no problem. No problem here whatsoever.
And if anybody else has giant long stories, I'm here to
Hey.
read those too.
My favorite type of potato chips. Y'all know that I struggle with favorites, okay? Saying a favorite. So I kind of alternate between. I love dill pickle chips, Leah.
Good choice.
I love, Cape Cod does those kettle chips.
Mm-hmm.
I love the jalapeno flavor of those. Also, the Miss Vicky's chips that are the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Same kind of thing. If we ever buy a bag, I mean, I could go sour cream and onion. I could go, cheddar and sour cream. Those are fantastic. Anything sour cream, I'll eat it.
Gross.
Yeah, I mean, I like chips. We don't eat a lot of chips, though. So
No, we don't buy them because we will eat them all, and that's a problem. So
Yeah.
we just don't purchase them because if we keep something like that in the household, we would eat way too many of them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we just don't.
Yeah.
But if
Um,
we're on a road trip and there is a gas station that has hot chips, that's
Yeah.
probably what I'm going to buy.
It's either hot chips or hot fries,
Yeah.
and Leah will eat the entire bag.
Yeah, it's problematic.
Yeah.
We have to buy the little bags.
Oh my God, I can't read this, Leah.
Here, let me
It's
try
from Leisha. It says, "Do you like to?" What is that word? Because it's your writing, so I don't know.
Camp.
Camp. Oh God, it does
I
not look
wasn't
like
sure.
that.
It looks like amp.
Yeah. Do you like to
I was
amp?
amp, lamp, camp. I think it's camp. Me, no. No, I do not.
I've actually never been like full on camping.
I am
So-
fine if I have a trailer, like a camper. Because when I was a little kid, my grandparents took all 4 of the grandchildren camping in Tennessee. And they had a travel trailer. And, you know, we parked at a campground and there was a bathhouse and stuff like that. I have to have a toilet. I am not peeing in the woods. I don't want to. I'm not gonna. Don't make me. Tent camping, hammock camping. Nope. Not for me. I'm very allergic to lots of bugs and I just, nope.
Do you see what Susan said up there?
What's that?
As per usual, Mitch couldn't pick just one. Well, again, I like chips. I have no problem saying that I like lots of types of fucking chips. I might go camping and take 6 different bags of chips with me because, when I get there, I might want a little bit of all of them. Or I might just want a whole bunch of one.
Ooh, and Allison said Zapp's Voodoo chips. Those are my
Yeah.
brother's favorite. Those and the Craw Taters are his favorite chips.
Absolutely. I love those too. Camping. I've never full on been camping. And now, since I now use a CPAP to sleep because I have sleep apnea,
Sleep apnea.
I pretty much just won't sleep outside. Apparently you can buy a battery for them, which someone told us last night. Aaliyah from the Trailer Trashy podcast
Yeah.
told us that you can get a battery and you can take them camping. I am not going to take that fucking chance. I'll sleep in a camper though. That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, I was going to say, if we had a friend that had a travel trailer or an RV, we could talk about it. But I mean, that's not really camping. That's just like nature adjacent. And I can do that, but I really don't want to sleep on the ground. I don't want to sleep in a tree.
Especially because, God, y'all, I'm going to tell, all right, tangent time. No more questions because this episode's long enough, so it's tangent time. I'm going to tell you why I especially can't sleep on the ground now. So, in late May, I got a brand new credit card with a big old limit on it. And I was like, Leah, I'm going to get my car fixed because I've said on the show before that my car hasn't had air conditioning since October of 2015. And it's like $1,000 to fix it. And I was like, ooh, great. I have this limit now. I'm going to get this car fixed, and I don't have to pay interest for a year, so we can just pay it off quickly. Leah goes, yeah, you could do that, or we could get a new bed. I said, yeah, I haven't had air conditioning for 4 years. I think I can make it. And we went and bought a purple mattress with a power base, and I am so fucking happy. I will not sleep on the ground voluntarily.
Yeah.
You can go fuck yourself. I will sleep in 0G when I goddamn well please.
It is the best bed that I've ever slept
For
on.
real.
And I'm not going back.
No.
I'm just not.
No.
It was expensive and a little bit selfish on my part, but I sleep so good now.
Let's see. Marissa said my mom brings an entire kitchen camping with her when we camp.
That's exactly what my grandmother always did. Like, she had the stove inside the camping trailer, but she had another entire separate tent set up for us to eat, like a gazebo tent staked next to the camper. So like that we had like a big portable grill kind of situation. And like my grandmother had a whole kitchen set up because, you know, she basically made all of our meals.
She needed to make waffles and fried chicken for breakfast while you're fucking camping.
She pretty much did. We did eat sandwiches, but she would always make fresh biscuits from scratch in the morning. Like,
while you're camping?
Yeah.
While you're camping.
And I mean, we did feed old pieces
I love
of
your
bread
grandmother to death, but god damn it, she is so extra.
Yeah, she is. But we would feed old stale biscuits to the ducks, which, granted, we did. This was back in the 90s when we didn't know that you shouldn't feed bread to ducks. That was just a thing that people did.
Yeah.
So I realize now that was not nutritionally sound for the ducks. But that's what we used to do. And I used to have geese chase me, and I didn't know until I was like, if you'll look in the mouth of a goose, they have teeth on their tongue, and they're fucking terrifying.
Looking in the mouth of a goose.
Oh, it's so scary. Geese are mean, and they run after you, and they're assholes, and that's where I first developed my fear of geese. So, and it's a strong fear. It's up there with the Easter Bunny, y'all. Geese are mean, and what's meaner than a goose is a swan. I used to think swans were adorable and pretty. No, ma'am. Those things are hateful.
Y'all tune in next week for Leah Reviews Birds. Next week will be no more waterfowl. It'll be land birds only. We'll get into ostriches. What's the plural of ostrich? Is it ostrich?
I think it's just ostriches.
Ostriches. Okay. All right. Well, it's time to end this audio portion. We can keep hanging out a little bit on the live stream, but yeah, that's enough. Oh God, Leah Reviews Birds would be an excellent episode title. Find a way to hammer that into the next episode that we're doing. Just like squeeze it in somewhere. Oh God, well that was fun, y'all. Send us in some more questions, some more personal stories. We're still doing good on questions. We're still doing good on personal stories. But
we need more of all of those things.
Right, we would like to bank them, put them up somewhere.
Because I have like a 10-day vacation coming up in November.
Oh yeah, you do.
And so we are going to have to pre-record some stuff for that particular time period because someone, aka me, is having the best 30th birthday ever. So, like I said, just as a present for me, will you please submit your story so we can get that taken care of so I don't have to stress.
Leah's present is that I'm not going with her.
Yeah, I'm going with one of my sorority sisters.
It's also a present for me.
An awesome time.
I'm going to play so many video games. You have no idea. The dogs might not get fed.
No.
because I'll forget.
No, you're better at feeding them than I am.
I am. I get shit done, Leah.
That's true.
I get it done.
All right, well.
All right, y'all. This was fun. Y'all tune in this weekend for Tailgate Tales and the main episode, and also watch the video for Tailgate Tales. We did Tennessee this week.
We did.
And it was a whole lot of fun, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we will see you next time.
Bye, y'all.
Okay, audio's done.
Huzzah.
All right, thank you. And look at that. We got a whole bunch of people watching the live stream this
that's
time.
the most people we've
Isn't that
had
great?
at one time, I think.
I know.
8.
Y'all-
I've seen it 8, 9, sort of flipping back and
how
forth.
excited are we for 8 people?
Oh my
I'm
God.
so into it.
I am. Hey, we were getting like none.
I'm not
on
being
the other.
I'm not being like
facetious.
that's probably the word I was looking for, but it wasn't what I was going to say.
Well, facetious is the
Yeah.
word that you should say.
That's what you should have used. Correct. Well, look at all those people, all those likes, Leah. Oh, man.
So excellent.
Yeah. I had a lot of my friends. Again, I've been sharing it to my personal page. So, like, a lot of people I haven't seen or spoken to in a few years, like, I'll see them pop up as joined, and I'll go, what the fuck? And then they'll hang, as far as I know, they'll hang out for a minute, and I'm like, awesome, guys. This is who I am now. This is what I do. This is my life
Hanging
at this
out with
point.
our puppy on the couch, just
Yeah.
talking about
Heath
weird
tried to bite
shit.
me fucking twice,
He
by the
did.
way. Let me see here. Oh, Marissa wants to know, now that we're out of the recording phase, but that's okay. I just turned 24 yesterday. What's the best cake you've ever had?
Happy
Leah?
birthday.
Yeah, happy
We're so happy for you.
birthday.
24 was a good year. I like 24.
For whom?
For me.
I mean, I enjoyed 20. I don't know.
We got
Like,
engaged when I was 24, right?
I don't know.
Or
Did
no, we got together when I was 24.
we? Leah, it's just blended together.
Yeah.
I don't even know where I am
We
right
started
now.
dating when I was 24.
Oh,
Anyway,
you're so old.
yes. Yes, I am. But we did. We started dating when, well, I had just turned 24. Like,
Yeah.
we got together on the 31st of October. Halloween friends. Yay. And then I turned 24 on the 16th. So, yeah, 24. It was a good year. Happy birthday, Marissa.
Stop dodging the question. What's the best cake you've ever
Best
had?
cake I've ever had. Ooh. I've had a lot of cake, y'all.
I know. I'll tell you what my favorites are. There's a restaurant in Birmingham. Well, actually, technically Montevallo, I guess. Alabaster. In Alabama, they're, basically everything north central Alabama is a suburb of Birmingham. Just remember that. So Alabaster had this Italian restaurant that Leah used to go to.
Called Joe's.
Joe's. When she was in college, when we were putting our wedding stuff together, she was like, yeah, we need to go to Joe's because they have the best cake you've ever had. And I was like, Leah, it's an Italian restaurant. I'm sure it's good cake, but there's no way. And she's like, no, they cater weddings. Like, they do wedding cakes and stuff. So we go. Turns out the restaurant had changed hands.
Yeah.
But the daughter of Joe, who used to own it, who had passed away. Daughter-in-law, I'm sorry. Got the cake recipes and was given the cake recipes. I need to stress that.
Yeah.
Because this was like apparently a hot thing
Oh,
for
yeah.
her.
It was a big family issue. But the lady that made our wedding cake was the person that learned from the woman that initially came up with
Right.
all of the recipes. And anyway, she's the one who did our wedding cakes. And
Yes.
we had 6 of them.
No, I thought it was 5.
5?
I think it was 5 because we had 4. We had chocolate strawberry was our wedding cake.
Uh-huh.
And then we had the groom's cake was lemon because they have the best lemon cake in the world.
Regular
I will fight
strawberry was ours. We had strawberry. Regular strawberry was our wedding cake. Then we had chocolate Nutella. We
That's
had carrot cake. We had a lemon cake, and I think we had was it an Oreo or something?
What was
like
your
that? I don't
cake?
remember.
What was your cake?
The strawberry one.
Okay, the wedding cake.
Yeah.
Well, I'm pretty sure we also had a chocolate strawberry.
I don't know, y'all. We had a fuck ton of cake.
My point is that Leah was not lying to me because I like cake, but like I'm not crazy about cake. If there's anything, I'll eat pie over cake. I think I've said that on the show before. I will definitely eat pie over cake. This is the best cake I've ever had, and it used to just be made at an Italian restaurant.
Yeah, and that lady that does it, her name is Bertolini. Bertoloni, I think, is their last name. But if you'll just Google that name, kind of, and Alabaster, she caters things and does meals to go and stuff like that. And she's absolutely fabulous to work with.
And so the point was Joe's was not basically operating under the same people anymore. The food was
Yeah.
still fine,
Food's good.
but
Cakes
the
are
people
fine,
we
but they're
went
not
to
as good.
see were not doing it anymore.
Yeah.
That's what it was. We approached them. You approached them about doing wedding cakes, and the
Mm-hmm.
person was like, "Yeah, sure, we can do it." And then the person at Joe's was like, "Look, I know who you're looking for. They are not here anymore. Here's their information." Like gave you their
Yeah, it was a
information.
waiter
like,
that
"Trust me,
answered."
go over here
Mhm.
and go to these people. That's who you're looking for."
Yeah. So
And-
that's what we did, and
yeah.
that's what I had for my wedding, or our wedding,
Yeah.
excuse me.
No, it was your
Um,
wedding.
But yeah, my favorite cake that I've probably ever had is their it's a cannoli cake that they make, but they're
Oh, I never
and then
tried
they
it.
it was a peach cake. We had a peach cake as well.
That's right. Yeah.
But their cannoli cake and then their peach cake is and I'm not a huge fan of fruit in cake, which is weird because we
Mhm.
had so many fruits in cakes for that. But
Fruits
they're-
and cakes
they
and fruits and
the
cakes.
peaches that they use come fresh from Clanton, Alabama,
Mhm.
like right down the road.
Clanton's famous for their peaches.
Yeah,
so.
I mean that their peach cake is probably the best cake I've ever had.
Mhm. Yeah.
I've had a lot of cake.
Yeah.
Such a weird
Could have fooled me.
tangent. Okay, well,
Yeah. That's
now that
enough.
everybody's left.
Yeah, everybody left. We got talking about cake, and people went, "Oh God, look at these fat fucks talking about cake." That's enough for me.
Hey, if a fat person tells you that cake is good, there is a 99% chance that they know what they're talking about. So don't take cake recommendations from the skinny bitch is all
Yeah.
I'm saying.
Yeah. Oh, you can have a nice cake made from plants, a plant-based cake.
Hey, I've had vegan cupcakes and they are disgusting. Don't
That's
do
what I
it.
said. It's fun. All right, y'all. Well, we are going to end this live stream because now I have to edit these things because we have to get them scheduled before we leave on Thursday. So we are going to let you go, and we will be in touch with you on the community chat, I'm sure, this week.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, y'all. Thank you for stopping by, and we will see you next time.
Bye, y'all.